Hello everybody, welcome back to another concert review. This is one I wasn't sure how it was gonna I wasn't sure what kind of concert review this was gonna be because I kind of went into this concert blind, not really knowing much about the solo work of the man who you can obviously see by the thumbnail is Mr. John Oates. Of course, John Oates being the Oates of Hall & Oates, the most successful duo of all time, I do believe. Um, you know, I saw Daryl Hall 2 years ago, downtown Roanoke, Virginia, at Elmwood Park. Did a review. I'll attach that to this video at some point. But I saw Daryl Hall with Todd Rundgren, and it was pouring down rain. I did a whole thing. So when this was actually a surprise announcement for this show at this venue, the Harvester Performance Center in Rocky Mount, Virginia, which I've talked about a few different times, a few different shows. And it was just announced one day, surprise, John Oates, tickets on sale now. And so I was like, I've got to see Oates because I saw Hall, a couple of years before. So went into it, didn't do a whole lot of research into John Oates with his solo stuff. I kind of figured, I was going to hear the Hall & Oates stuff and then maybe be surprised by some other, stuff that John Oates does. I was blown away by how good this show was. It was so good. He didn't have an opener, came out, he had a guy on pedal steel and electric guitar. He switched back and forth. John Oates was standing up. He was playing acoustic guitar. He had a cellist and a percussionist. He kind of had like this cocktail kit with some cajones and some percussive instruments. And the drummer percussionist was apparently a longtime friend of John Oates. He had been playing with him since the 90s on his solo stuff. So very cool band, sounded fantastic. The cellist was going between playing with the bow and almost playing like bass notes with it. And little did I know, the cellist played with one of my favorite singers, Sarah Jarosz, who my sister got to open for back in 2014. And this guy was playing with Sarah Jarosz at that concert. So 10 years ago, I saw that guy playing with Sarah Jarosz. Here he was tonight playing with John Oates. Every song that John sang, he had a little tale to tell about it, which was really good. Usually I'm against, a lot of talking. This show, it worked. It worked really well. How he was talking, about what he was doing when he was writing this song, who he was writing with. He collaborated with somebody who was a part of the first 3 Taylor Swift records. They lived nearby in Nashville, and they got together during the pandemic and did some songwriting. He talked about several songs that he wrote during the pandemic, and what came out of those, what he was feeling at the time, and it sounded so good. He has this soulful kind of voice that you don't really get to hear on a lot of the Hall & Oates records because Daryl Hall was the singer. I mean, Daryl Hall had a fantastic voice, perfect for the music. That's what made them successful. But John Oates' contributions for the longest time for me were just underappreciated. And then I go to the show tonight and I'm thinking, that's a talented man. He can play acoustic guitar very well. Very well. Like, I was shocked with how well he played acoustic guitar. Jazzy chords, kind of, again, some of that Philly soul sound was coming out, that made him famous with Hall & Oates. And it was so good. He does a song called Arkansas, which he wrote when he went to go, it was after a show, and he talked about traveling and seeing the cotton fields in Arkansas. That was so good. He did a few cover songs. He talked about, he said, I was asked a few months ago to play at the Ryman Auditorium in tribute to John Prine, who, as you all know that watch my channel know, I love John Prine. And he said that when him and Daryl were recording Abandoned Luncheonette, the most famous Hall & Oates record, I would say, they were recording at the same studio at Electric Ladyland the same time that John Prine was recording his debut, the self-titled, his huge album. amongst John Prine fans, and so that they would hang out in the hallways. He would see John. They became very good friends. He talked about missing John Prine. We actually just celebrated. Well, we just marked 4 years since John Prine passed away, and so he said, he was asked to do this benefit show, and said he was more than happy to do it. He said the hardest part was just figuring out what song to do. So he was telling, the stories, and then he says, so here's a song by John Prine called Long Monday, which is a beautiful song. I love the song Long Monday. It's such a good song, and he played it so well, and I was blown away by it. I've recorded the full video of it. I might post it on here in the next couple of days, but that was fantastic. He talked about, he was lucky enough to induct Smokey Robinson into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I didn't know that, and so then he did Tracks of My Tears. Sounded very much like Smokey Robinson when he sang it. Very really good. And then he closed the encore with a song that he said most people do this song slowly, and he said it was a song that brought me a lot of hope during the pandemic, and he said, why don't I jazz this up? And so then they closed with What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong, which is a song, again, it's overdone, but he did it really well, and it was really enjoyable to hear his version. And but yeah, I mean, again, his stuff was just so good. So, like, the words were just fantastic. He made several quips about Daryl Hall, talking about, he had a song about, two friends that, helped each other. And he's like, a lot of times it's hard to have, he's like, you have a lifelong friend who sometimes, they kind of let you down. And then he was kind of quiet, let the audience laugh. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like, what are you laughing at? Are you in on something, that I don't know? But obviously he was referring to Daryl Hall and their current lawsuit with songwriting. That after tonight's show, I will say John Oates comes across as a genuinely kind individual, and he comes across as somebody who doesn't deserve what all he's been through. With all this lawsuit and taking the back burner for all these years. So he did songs, he did Hall & Oates songs, he did a couple of songs from Abandoned Luncheonette, including She's Gone. He said that he's done every show that he's done since 1973. He said he's sang the song She's Gone, whether it's with Hall & Oates or solo. So he's like, I'm not going to break that tradition tonight. He talked about what the song meant to him. He talked about this album, which I think is the only Hall & Oates, other than their Heart and Soul Greatest Hits compilation. This is Big Bam Boom. And he did the song Out of Touch. And there he is, looking cool and muscular with his mustache. He sounded fantastic. You might as well show the vinyl. I might spin this tomorrow, so I might leave this out. I'm filming this. It's almost midnight here. Again, Harvester, small venue, holds about 400 people. There might have been 100 people there tonight. It was unfortunate, but they did let you when you walked in, and they gave you the wristband. They were handing out these cool cards that are, you can't really see the texture on it, but it's like a playing card. Like, it feels like a playing card, and it's got the J and the O for John Oates. He has a new album coming out called Reunions, and I think that song, that Long Monday cover, is on this album. The title track he sang, that was co-written by AJ Croce, who I've seen recently. They did that song tonight. Again, he didn't mention AJ, but that single just came out a few days ago. I think tomorrow, April the 10th, the video comes out, the music video. And then it came with this little QR code where I think it links you up to his website. But he didn't have any merch. He said, he's like, I don't have any merch. So, you're walking away with something for free from a concert. So really cool to have this little keepsake. when the lights went up and everybody left, I was able to go to the front, and the drummer was kind of hanging around. I shook his hand, just thanked him for the show. Really cool opportunity. And the guy playing the pedal steel and the electric guitar was from Charlottesville, Virginia. So kind of a local connection there, which was really cool. So great show. See him if you can. Fairly affordable. I bought these tickets a few months ago, and I'm very happy that I did, because I was going into it, was not excited. But next time John Oates is in town, if he's anywhere near here again, I hope he is. If he watches this, please come back. Really, really, really enjoyed the show. Thank you so much, John. Very, very cool stuff. Anyway, there you go, everybody. There's my take on the John Oates show. Let me know, have you seen him in his solo capacity? Have you listened to any of his solo stuff? I'm definitely going to be checking out more of his solo stuff tomorrow when I'm more awake. But great show. Thanks so much, John. Awesome, awesome, awesome. In the meantime, y'all be good. Take care, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye now.